for the record. I now call on the ranking member, Ms. Miller, to give an opening statement.
Thank you, Chairwoman Titus. Our subcommittee's jurisdiction is expansive, covering all areas of emergency management. I want to thank the chairwoman today for this hearing because so many communities across this nation are directly impacted by disasters and are recovering from or are still dealing with wildfires, flooding, tornadoes, and hurricanes. We have an unprecedented number of open disasters, with FEMA responding to 60% more active disasters than just a year ago. We need to continue to ensure our oversight is consistent and strong, and where there needs to be reforms, we must be willing to quickly act. Already, this Congress, our committee has acted in bipartisan fashion to pass several pieces of important disaster reform legislation. I hope that they will be enacted by the end of this year. It is critical we ensure our federal emergency management capabilities are as effective and efficient as possible. A key piece of this is recovery. The longer it takes for communities to recover, the longer it impacts people's lives, the higher the cost to the taxpayer, and the longer FEMA and other federal partners' resources are spread thin. Our goal should be to respond and get disaster assistance out the door quickly and support states and local communities in building back faster and better in order to mitigate against the next disaster. As we see more disasters, speed, efficiency, and mitigation become even more critical. We cannot afford to do this the old way, spending years or even decades to recover. We have given FEMA the tools to do that through the reforms that we passed after Sandy and more recently in the Disaster Recovery Reform Act. We should be seeing recovery move faster. However, at times it seems that the red tape we take out somehow gets put back in. We have a duty to ensure disaster funding is used and spent appropriately. We also know that going back to the old way of doing things, arguing about every doorknob, how much it'll cost the taxpayer, it'll even be more money than simply by providing the states and the communities more flexibility. Let me be clear, I have a lot of respect for the men and women of FEMA. They are Americans who put their own lives on hold to be spent helping communities respond and recover from disasters. The reforms we enacted should help them to do their job faster and easier. However, despite the improvements needed in the FEMA's process, an even slower and more bureaucratic program is not represented here today. We invited HUD, given that it has received more than $37 billion since 2017 for its disaster recovery program. While I appreciate their written testimony and the briefing they provided us, our constituents need to hear publicly from them and what steps they are taking to improve their process. How do we, as the committee that oversees federal emergency management programs, do our job if one of the largest disaster programs is not represented here? I appreciate the witnesses that are here with us today, and I look forward to hearing from them on where we are in our recovery efforts and whether more reforms are needed to ensure that we are recovering faster and smarter. I yield back my time.